just like the baby that is born, that does not seem to be able to do a great deal for them, that is unable to do a great deal for themselves. We're infant souls. We have not learned our lessons. When we incur what we call karma, it's really, or just like basically to just put it in more common terms, you know, all that crap that happens to you in life, that you blame on somebody else, and you say, why me? Okay? Or, I must have done something really, really bad for those of us who, you know, in order to be going through this now. I must have done something really horrible, or I wouldn't be going through this now. But see, if we awaken consciousness on that level, and we realize that, and we begin to refine ourselves now, we begin to look at our own shadow areas. The word sin simply means missing the mark. It's nothing horrendous. And here's the thing. No matter what an individual has done, it all is forgiven when they experience true remorse. And just recognizing that in past lives, we have all been murderers and rapists and victims, and we have all done it all. Right now, we happen to live in a point in time on the planet where we have this amazing systems of communications. So we get to see all of this stuff that's happening. And when we see it, we go, oh, what a horrible thing is happening. Or, oh my God, those people, they should be locked up. Because they're doing these horrendous things. But you know, it's an interesting thing, because just because someone perpetrated a crime in the way that our modern society functions, we say those people are criminals in one way or another, and we put them in jail. But the jails need to hold twice the population. Because those people who agreed to be victims have to go there too. If you did not agree to be a victim, there would not have been a perpetrator. Because they would have had no one to prey upon. They would have had no one to perpetrate an act against. It's really two sides of the same coin. So next time we judge, or next time we blame, complain, and assert our rights, because we have been victimized in one way or another, we really need to look at, okay, how did I create that in my own life? How did I allow that person to come in to my life to perpetrate whatever act they did? And what was the lesson in it for me? Because nothing happens without actually creating some form of a lesson. What is the lesson in it for me? And probably the most important thing of all of that is to forgive yourself for being involved in the actions. Forgive yourself for holding a grievance against another. I am not saying that what they did was right. However, if you continue to hold the grievance, the process of forgiveness will never take place. And that energetic knot, where you hold your righteousness, where you hold your anger, is going to stay in your body, and it's going to cause some form of dis-easement. The Chinese say, I quote the Chinese because I'm a master of Chinese medical Qigong. The Chinese say, that you cannot heal what you cannot feel. And that disease, no matter what form it is not here to kill you. It is prolonging your life so that you can heal, so that you can get at the root cause, the trauma that would have instantly killed you, but instead the disease is buying you time so that you can recognize and realize, this is the actual root cause. Go within, forgive yourself, then you can forgive the other person. How often do we tell other people, oh, I forgive you. I know you didn't mean it, or you didn't know any different, or you didn't know any better, or, you know, it's as a minister, when I speak to the different New Thought churches, and I hear other ministers speak. I actually, I live in the Studio City area. I went into Spirit Works in Burbank, and Dr. Morgan Moses, was speaking on Father's Day. And he said, well, you know, as parents, and his son was there for the first time, and he said, well, you know, as parents, we're really the markers for the divine parents. So we're kind of taking up physical space to take that place of the divine parents. And depending how aware or not aware we are to how well we help our children to develop, but ultimately, it's really for us to get in touch with our divine parents, our divine mother and father, which also resides within, whom also resides within us, within our heart chambers. And he said, you know, no matter how hard we try, no matter how aware we might be, we can't help but screw our kids up. And you know, and it's an interesting thing, because who here had a perfect childhood? Okay. Amazing parents. I was speaking to a fellow who was complaining about how challenging his life is, and how he comes from a dysfunctional family, and I don't know, he was probably like 30-something, I was probably in my 40s at the time. And he said, you're always so positive. You must have had an amazing childhood. Your parents must have been just these amazing people, because you're always so positive. Well, the truth of it is, my father passed on when I was 7. And in those years, all of those years, 7 years, if my father said 50 words to me, it was a lot. I was speaking with my brother, and I said to my brother, you know, yeah, Dad said 100 words to me. He goes, you're being extremely generous. So it's not a personal thing. It's just how it was. My mom, God bless her, she's a very, I have for years and years said, I wish to experience my mother the way that other people experience her. Because everybody who's met my mom thinks she is, this is my friend of almost 40 years, says, everybody who's ever met my mom thinks that she's just this really kind and wonderful woman. But for the few of us, like my brother and myself, a couple of my cousins, we know she's a bitch on wheels. And she could make a saint drink. So, you know, that's just how it is. None of us have had this amazing, perfect childhood. But you know, we chose our lives. We chose to be here. We chose to come in. to the physical embodiment, and guess what? We chose our life's challenges as well. Our soul, in preparation for coming into physical embodiment, said, in this lifetime, I need to accomplish this. Then we come in through the physical birth canal into these bodies that don't work. All of us really are born consciously aware. All of us are. It's about maintaining that awareness. Our mouths don't work, our eyes don't work, our head, flips all over the place. Nothing works. You want to pick up your arm and do something and you can't. It's all just kind of flops around. It takes about a year or so to finally get things, kind of, oh, okay, let me kind of get my orientation. And you want to talk, and you want to communicate with these bigger beings that are there, because you know, and you know who they are. And we're all born into the same soul families time and time and time again. So you know who they are. Your mother might have been your lover in a past lifetime, or your mother might have been your daughter or son in the past lifetime. Or your best friend, whatever it is. Or perhaps your nemesis. Especially because remember, we're here to work out karma. Okay? So our immediate family that we come into, we usually have a lot of karma with them. The good thing is that we also make agreements with our soulmates, and there are many soulmates, friends, people who support us, so that we come into support as well. And then eventually we also come into groups like this. But here we come in, we're aware, we want to talk, they don't understand. And they're not even speaking proper words to us. They're going, goo-goo, gaggoo. What's that? Okay. That's not why I came in here. So, our awareness becomes conditioned out of us. And then we begin to kind of go into a fog, we begin to fall asleep. And because we do not have that individualized consciousness, I'm being given the 15-minute sign, but no one is coming in here after us. So if anyone wants to stay a little later, that's, it's great. Just to let you know. Okay, I have no problem staying longer. We're going to go through that process of awakening the divine forces of love, wisdom, and power within the inner heart chamber, and then we'll open it up to questions and discussion. Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of a view of what the rest of this is going to be. So for whoever needs to leave, feel free. But for who wants to stay, I'll stay as long as you wish. So we become conditioned out of being aware. From the time that we are in the womb to the time that we're about 5 years old, we are basically sponges absorbing the world around us. Because we are basically sponges absorbing the world around us, one of the things that happens is we actually, during that time, anchor in a lot of traumatic events, and we also anchor in a great deal of how we function in the current lifetime as adults. Has anybody here seen how so many of our, let's say, political leaders, when they kind of lose their calm, so to speak,